Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Goosebumps HorrorTown playthrough. This is Grim here, and we're about to be in the video talking about the 12 Screams of Christmas. This is our last event, last update for the entire year of 2020, and what a great way to end it off with a bang. This video is going to be looking at the Crafting 101, and this will probably be the last for the year, and again, running behind, but as you know, this is the time of year where people get sick, and I'm not having fun, but let's just put it that way. I'm hopefully getting a recovery, but anyways, today we're going to be talking about what you can expect when it comes to this update, and what you need to know for getting the grand prize, which is this time the 12th Scream of Christmas tree. And it looks pretty normal, but that is because it has a pleasant surprise if you were happen to get it. And for those who do get it, you'll see exactly what will happen. But yeah, other than that, whatever. I'll briefly also mention about the Ghostly Partners book prize, but as you probably noticed, it only seems to come out as soon as you beat the game. So you'd have to get the grand prize in order to get this, so, you know, it's fair to mention if you're gonna have to do this, you have to do the other. But, you know, that's neither here or there. Anyways, I figure I might as well talk long enough. I'll let my past self try to tell you what to do. And I do apologize on some of the coughing. I tried my best, but yeah, you can see how bad it is. So, take it away, me. My oh my, what a tacky looking building we got here. Santa's workshop has been invaded by Susie by the looks of it. Yep, so this is the event area, and you know what that means? It's a Crafting 101 again. I'm going to be trying to talk a little bit more calmly and whatnot, so I'm not going to irritate, but I'll try to be quick with this. But yep, so this part we're going to talk about how you can get the 12th Screams of Christmas. Now, although this looks very plain and mundane, do not worry. I believe this thing, it looks normal, but once you get it and put it into your town, I think there's an animation with it. So, it kind of reminds me of like a Hannibal Lecter of sorts, where you'd go through each cage getting more crazy and crazy, and then near the end, you have this normal-looking person behind plastic, and you're like, oh, crap. Why is he crazy? But anyways, yeah. So in this one, sorry, you need the Holly Jolly tapes, spirit candles, ghost cage, and the Rat King. Now, something to note is that for when it comes to the tapes, they're going to be ridiculously easy. In fact, they're going to be the easiest thing to get, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Because the Christmas cards from last year, as well as the Santa toy bag from last year, have returned this time around, and they are the normal items that you can grab. So, most likely than not, you'll be able to get this item, no problem. Now, that being said, the issue is going to be the last three items down here. The Spirit Candle, Ghost Cage, and the Rat King. Reason being is, as you can see, a lot of these items require you to use the scenes, hence why you need to be level 10, because one of them is the graveyard. Now, let's talk about some of these items here. The Spirit Candle. There's going to be a problem. These two items are going to be a problem, namely because of the ectoplasm and the spirit board, because of how they drop and they suck. One thing I'll note as well, as far as I can see as of now, through this quest line, there's only no other characters will drop the Ghost Cage and the Rat King. Only one character does drop the Spirit Candle, but I'll get to them in a minute. But mostly this seems more or less plain as day. Now, as far as when it comes to hardness goes, I think the Spirit Candles and the Ghost Cage are going to be more harder, but if you have this one character, then the Spirit Candle is easy, so it's going to be the Ghost Cage, and the Rat King is going to be the hardest. I'll explain why in a minute. Now, normally around this time, I talk about the spawns or the items that drop currency or stuff. Unfortunately, this time around, we don't have that. But there is an exception over here, which is the Blasto Ape. He has a chance to dropping either the bag or the candy cane. The bag, unfortunately, is the only thing you need, and really they're easy to get, so honestly, you don't need it. But it's there if you have it, so yeah, good to know. Right, so with that, let's go ahead and see the characters. As far as characters go, a lot of them are pretty easy when it comes to certain items here. For example, Mortman has only one task, which is make a list, which was introduced last year during my event. And then you have other stuff here. Now, one thing of interest to note, Lucy, like either of these normal characters will have one or two items, which is basically either get a toy bag or the Christmas cards. Now, something I'll note is that there are certain characters that will be able to go to the scene, this event scene area. And the thing about that is that there's only one character can go at a time, which sucks. So that means if I have Lucy go here, then the other characters won't be able to do it. So just keep a note of that as far as that goes. Now, I'll talk about what is going to be the hardest stuff here to deal with. You'll probably notice when it comes to certain of these items, themselves are pretty much easy to understand. The one thing that might be difficult, unless you have certain characters, is the mousetrap. One of the items you'll need to turn on is the Annihilator 3000, so the toy shop, have that, or the arcade, I think. Either it's the toy shop or the arcade, turn that on, have this be dropped. Have characters that you don't have doing Christmas items stuff drops to do that, and you should be fine. Now, although we have the gnome pipe here, unfortunately, you don't need a haunted sock or the humbug, so you can skip this if, one, you have the character that can drop this, and you only need to do it to clear the event, which is there to help you with the grand prize book, which I will mention right after I've done all this stuff here. So I think that's pretty much like easy to explain, but let's go ahead and talk about the important characters that you might need to know. There's only a few interesting characters that stand out to make note of as far as I know. Curly is back again, and he actually breaks a bit. This is the only character that will give you a spirit candle. In order to do this, and for some reason it's called cheering at the parade, which is dumb. I think it's supposed to be skiing or something like that. You need the pond in order for this to happen. So you need to make sure at some point to buy the pond area, which is going to be part of the quest anyway. So just know he and another character needs this pond in order to move forward. Other than that, he does the normal stuff. He does drop you the Flora doll. He also drops you the mouse toy, which is one of the only characters. Him and another one are the only ones to drop the mouse toy, so that makes it easy. The other characters will drop the Flora doll, be fine, so you can have them do that. And this is what I mean. Curly will also help you with getting the Haunted Shock or the Humbug. So if you have him, you should be fine with clearing all the normal stuff. You'll just have to deal with getting the Rat King to be the hardest item. The Ghost Cage, on the other hand, is fine for a few... I mean, like, you're going to have to deal with the ectoplasm, which is going to be a pain. The Ghost Dog Tag can be acquired two ways. One of them is through the normal Ghost Hound scene, but another one is the souvenir stand, which is way over here. No, not that. Can I click it, please? Okay, whatever. It's going to be right here. Oh my god. Why won't it work? No. Alright, hold on. This right here. That will drop you one dog collar. Unfortunately, the only way to get this was if you played the original Haunted Halloween event back in 2018, or if you're around during the Horror Land event back last Halloween. Now, that being said, there is a possibility that this item will return back in the Haunted Halloween, not Haunted Halloween, the Horror Land special bundle, but that won't be for a while, so you're kind of out of luck for that. So you have to deal with the books only. So there's that to deal with. Now, before I go ahead and do the special characters, the new ones, I will show you the other characters from last events that are useful this time around, and then I'll talk about the scenes. Now, the only useful characters outside of this is, you know, last Halloween update and the last one here. Vanessa and Crystal both have tasks that basically does the same thing here. They both drop the Susie Flower doll and the mouse toy. So there's a bunch of characters that can do that. So if you have them from previous events, you should be fine. Like you see here, should be fine. One thing to note, if you do have Crystal, she does also give you the haunted socks, so that's another item to help you out. A lot of these characters will basically, it's pretty simple for most of the stuff here as far as getting the item goes. There's only one issue, a few issues to bring up. Before I go to the characters, I might as well talk about the new scene. So one of the new scenes that got introduced is, there it is, the Gronks. The Gronks are adorable, first of all, in order to get. They're pretty easy to get anyways because the drops are not that bad as far as buying it goes. You also notice that when it comes to these quest lines, they do drop a lot of currency. But this is going to be one of those you have to sell and grind kind of deals. So any characters that you don't need items for, you can just sell them onto the Seder shop, should be fine. The one thing that's cute about this too is that these dolls, easy to get because literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100%. And they have a very, very cool down time of like maybe an hour. So obviously easy to spawn, easy to summon, and honestly they're adorable seeing them running around and such of that. Now, there is some difficulties with this new one here. Unfortunately, this is the same issue that happened last update. That is, as you'll see here, you need 2 of the new characters that were premium in order to get 100%. Because otherwise, you'll have to deal with the twins, Ned and Abe, for 30%, which is unfortunate, sadly. Now, that being said, there is a lot of time to deal with this, so getting drops, I think it's going to be very hard because that's basically a 1/3 chance-ish to get it. My advice, I've tested this out. If you can get one of these characters, and I'll tell you which one to get if you want. I'll tell you the character you should grab. But other than that, you'll probably need one of these characters at least to get a good chance, because that gives you at least 65, which is a better chance of getting it fine versus not getting it at all. Of course, if you go out the extra mile and getting all 3 of them, or all 2 of them, it's 100%, so you should be fine. How that story goes. Now, with that being said, you might think that's the hardest item to get. It's not. Sadly, when I say the Rat King is going to be the hardest one, isn't because of the mouse toy or the florist doll. No. It's because of this. The haunted shopping gift. Oh boy, we're talking about my event again. Because the Mayfield Bazaar has returned again, and you can buy it for 11,000 of the Haunted Candles event currency, which is a ridiculous price. But even if you were going to go that extra mile to get this item in order to help you get to this character and item, this is where it starts to become a pain. Because, no, not the skull. As you'll see, you'll need Reggie in order to get anything, because you'll be dealing with the 30% again, which is a pain again. And so if you've actually gotten Reggie from the last Christmas, then you should be fine when it comes to getting this just easy. It's going to be a grind to get to this scene item, but there is also an alternative that I'll explain. Now, if you're not going to want to grind to this, and if you are going to pay through a bundle, there's two ways you can go around this. The first way is to get Marcus Ghost Pack. Marcus is Mr. Marcus, comes with a bunch of items, one of them being this scene. So if you do get him through this pack, which is what I did for the premium playthrough, then you'll get this just fine, no problem. But there's also another way you can get this, and this item will be permanent because it is going to be available within the special books section. So every weekend, you'll get a chance to get either the Attack of the Christmas Present or the Shop Till You Drop Dead. The unfortunate part about that is that you're going to have to pay whatever it is in order to unlock the book in order to get it just fine. And if you didn't buy any of the other books, then you have to gamble on having it pop up. Now, fortunately, if you really do want to get Shop Till You Drop Dead bundle, you can always go to the customer support and ask them to put that bundle into the game for you, and they should do it just fine. So if you want it quicker, just contact them and they should give it just a-okay. So that's the unfortunate part we have to deal with this here. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about the main characters. Now, this is the new premium, not premium, this is the only premium characters we got here, which is free. And unfortunately costs 8.4 thousand of the event currency, and that is Mr. Piccolo. You will know who he is because he's the only one in a chair, in a hovercraft of sorts, and he seems tiny. Right, so Mr. Piccolo has a bunch of, a lot of these animations are pretty much normal. All the items, drops, fine, normal to pay. Script writing, though, the thing is, the Florida doll is the only items he actually drops that is worth going for. So if you want to use him, you can. Note, though, he has to go to his house, and there's other premium characters that are new that will also use his house if you want those items. So, again, unfortunately, only one person at a time in the house, which sucks. But what can you do? Something I'll mention, too, if you're curious. Drool. He has items that drops. Unfortunately, the only real special item is the Susie's magic bag thing here. The other ones are just easy 3 items, like the tapes as well. So if you have them, he helps, but not by much. The other characters I'll mention too, Reggie, despite him helping you for the event, not the event, the area of his spawn house, because he's required in order to get through the event. Something else I'll mention too, for some reason Reggie questline will have items that require to drop from this event. I'm not sure why that is, but that's how it's going. So just note that you'll need items from the crafting area here in order to complete it. I will showcase that during my playthrough for the Shop Till You Drop Dead questline. If you go to Reggie, you'll notice that there's 2 items you can go for, which is the Christmas card and a Santa's toy bag. Santa does the same thing, or sorry, Chris does the same thing, with only dropping 2 of these items. So really, if you're getting for them or if you have them, they're not really that useful. Reggie's, the only usefulness of them is through getting the haunting gift bags 100%. So keep that in mind, unfortunately. Now let's talk about the new characters that came here. The first one is the ghost spirit, Mr. Marcus. Right here. Mr. Marcus is an interesting lad because he gives you the haunting sock as well. Normal items as usual. He also drops the humbug. So again, if you don't have Curly, then he's helpful for that. And he also helps you with getting the Flora doll and the mouse toy. Now this is what I meant. He used buildings to poltergeist haunt buildings. In order to get Flora's doll, you have to go to the Susie place. So you need Susie in order to get him, unfortunately. So that task is completely out.
unless you have her as well. And the Poltergeist of Piccolos, you need Piccolo in order to get it. So if you do get him, he's going to be limited off unless you get both characters in one pack. He is the cheapest to get with his 500 Goosebucks. That's sad to say that he's the cheapest one out of the bunch. But yeah, if you want to get him, that's what he drops. That's what he has. Seems pretty fun. All right, let's talk about the last character. The one character I think everyone really loves, myself included. And that is Susie Snowflake. There she is. Look at that happy girl. There she is. My God. Can I click you, please? There we go. So, Susie Snowflakes. She has a bunch of tasks here. The Holly Jolly Dance, normal stuff. And like like the other character, Marcus, he also drops these items here. Now, Susie will need the mansion in order to get this item, so no one else has to be in there, unfortunately. She'll need the skating ring in order to get the Holly Jolly tape, so that's not much. Like, and this is where I'm going to go with this. Although this character is fun, animation-wise, quest-wise, and just her whole nature, she costs 700 of the Goosebucks, which is ridiculously priced for a character like this. Now, judging on that, I don't know. I really can't tell you. I honestly like the character, but I can understand when people are going like, don't want it. So if you're only getting one of these two characters, go for Marcus, because he drops more items, he's a lot more cheaper, and he comes with other stuff too. Now, if you're going to go for a special bundle, I'll say the same thing, because the Gronks are easy to get as far as currency-wise crafting goes, and, you know, the drops is nothing new. You can totally skip Susie if you like to. I feel Susie is basically just, if you like to have her, you can have her kind of deal, and that's totally fine. So, with that rambling on, hopefully you get a better understanding with how this event kind of goes together. It seems easy enough. The only problems are going to be, like I said before, if you're not into the game, if you don't invest in certain things of the game, then this is where the problems are going to have. So keep that in mind. That's the only downside to this. So, once again, I'll mention this one last thing before we go, and that is the quest line. So there are 12 missions to this game. You'll do need to get the grand prize in order to actually pass this, as we've seen as of late. Seems like this is what they're going to be doing moving forward, because it wants to fit to the special book prize. When you do, you'll have a chance to get the Ghostly Partners. It's an interesting display item here, and if you get to this point, you should be fine as far as getting the items go, because, like I said, I feel like if you've actually premium your way through this, it should be fine, but whatever. It's what do you say here? It's hard to say exactly how this item is going to look, because it does drop a lot of currency. And from what I understand, there is an animation with this. So if you do get it, you should get a very nice treat. If you miss it, then, like I said, you have a chance to wait until the end of the event in order to buy it with your cash. Sometimes, if it's glitched, you can get it for free. Like I've seen the last 2 times. Whatever you can do, you know. And that's that. I think that's basically it. There's not much I can say. It pretty much explains for itself. Like, a lot of the items, characters, and all that's kind of good here. And what's great about this is I believe this is not only the last event for this year, update for this year, but I believe this is going to be for a little while a rest for events, as far as I think. I don't know. I'm only saying this because by the looks of things, usually January we have a big break, so that will be nice for me to rest and get some stuff caught up. But the other thing too is that if you notice up here, we have this house. I have a feeling by the looks of how they're doing everything, it looks like they're on board to actually get this area open up. And that means the next update is going to be that, and that means it's going to be permanent. So hopefully, finally, Casey Loves Gaming is going to get his request, if that is true. If we are going to get permanent. So there we go. Yay, we finally get something good. But anyways, I'm rambling on about. So, as of right now, 14 weeks, or 4 weeks, 4 days. When this event first started, there was 5 weeks to go. So with that being said, calculating aside, this comes up to, if I'm correct, and last time I was, this should end Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 at 6 p.m. EST. So, that will be it for me, and I hope you do go well with this event, as will I, because I have to rest and heal and all that and more, and hopefully we can all survive through the to the next new year. Right, so I'll leave it at that. I've been Grim, and I'll be seeing you next time for whatever Goosebumps HorrorTown playthrough gives you too. So until then, have a happy holidays. You know what I'm saying. I'll see you in the new year. By the time this comes up, I don't know.